What is up, everybody? This is Quarter Recall, a show where we take a look back at what was going on in pop culture 25 years ago. I'm not going to do the movies music thing.
You just did.
I know.
Bad news.
You know, it's funny because it's written on this doc, and I'm like, I start reading, and I'm like, but I don't want to say it.
It's like just delete it. Problem solved.
No. You made the doc. I can't delete your beautiful work. Now I totally lost my train of thought. This is going to be a double episode. So
hell yeah!
All the soup heads out there might notice we missed last week. Our illustrious Leo, say hello.
Hello. Happy to be here as always.
I'm so happy to have you. Was vacationing abroad.
Abroad in a different state.
In a different state.
A few hours away.
Abroad of his residence. And so we took the week off. We had a Saturday vacation, and I used it to play video games.
Nice.
So
we got a lot of ground to cover.
So we got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of trailers to see, a lot of stuff going on. So I'm excited. I'm excited for all this old content to get into. But before we go back deep into the past, Leo, is there anything? What have you been getting into these 2 weeks? There has to be stuff. 'Cause it's been 2 whole weeks, 14 days.
Yeah, there's a couple things I want to talk about. I'll try and keep it sort of short, just because I know we got a lot to get through. But you'll be happy to hear I got sucked into another Resident Evil game pretty hard.
Shocked.
This time it's Resident Evil 0, which I'm sure you know, but was for the GameCube. But then, along with the other remake of Resident Evil, was re-released in an HD version. And it's one I beat, I think, on the GameCube when it first came out, and haven't really touched since. It's got a pretty bad reputation as far as like the mainline Resident Evil games go. So I've been trepidatious, but I'm undertaking, platinuming all of them. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's fire it up. And very quickly got sucked right back into this cycle that happens with me with each one of these games, where I just start running them over and over and like trying to get all the trophies and really organizing the runs to be like, all right, if I run this one on this difficulty with these weapons, that I can get these 5 trophies,
Yeah, you're crazy.
It's really fun. I find it so fun to just like optimize the playthroughs and stuff.
So I have no experience with Resident Evil 0. Like, what is it?
So yeah, it's wild because it's very similar to the original remake, if that makes sense.
So I know it exists. I just have never.
It's a prequel to that, right? And it's not good. Well, it is good in some ways. Like, it's still a fun Resident Evil game to play, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it looks so good. I can't believe it. Both those games, because they were the last ones to use pre-rendered backgrounds, but they are absolutely gorgeous, and they just do not age at all. Like even the character models are obviously a little bit weaker than the pre-rendered, but in the HD version, even they look fine. And like the backgrounds are gorgeous. I can't believe playing it in 2022, like how extraordinarily beautiful they look. So that part's great. And the level design's still classic Resident Evil. You know, it's got its same gameplay, same stuff. The big difference is there's two people that you like swap between, and you can control them both at once. And the real big difference is there are no item boxes, which really fucks with item management, right? Because you can put items anywhere in any place on the map, but then you have to go back and get them. So it adds a new wrinkle in terms of item management. A lot of people really hate it, and I can see why. There's a lot of like really kind of hateful stuff in there built around that. And the co-op stuff's hateful in that, yeah, it like wastes your time in a way that's really unnecessary and like sort of spiteful and I'm not sure why they chose to do some of the things they did. I won't get into the specifics, but when it works well, it is cool because, like I said, it forces you to manage items in kind of a new way. But it's certainly, there's a reason they only did it one time and never went back to it. And one of my biggest complaints with that system is it's so hard to pick up items. Like it's like pixel perfect, but it's not on top of the item. It's like somewhere around there because it's pre-rendered background. It's really hard to judge distance. So there's a lot of frustration there. But what really stands out about it too, as a negative, is the story is just utter insanity. And that's saying a lot for Resident Evil, you know? Because like all the stories are utter insanity. But this one's real fucking out there. Like, I can't even describe it, but it's worth checking out like some of the cutscenes because they're just so insane. And it's a prequel to the original, so it kind of fucks up a lot of continuity there for no reason. Feels very unnecessary in a lot of ways. But that said, as with most Resident Evil games from that era, I'm still having a lot of fun getting through it, even though I can certainly see its weaknesses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I hate bad item pickups in games. Like,
well, then this would be your least favorite game of all time.
So I was playing.
It's like 90% of it.
So I was playing. I tried to play Ark, the survival game, and that game I played it for like 10 minutes and uninstalled it. It was free on Steam, so I like installed it. And I was like, see. And that game is so dog shit. And the worst thing about it is the item pickups because there's no like crosshair cursor thing, right? And there's no like hover. Like in a lot of those games, you'll hover to be like pick up rock, you know, and you like pick up the rock.
Yeah.
In this one, it is completely like just kind of be around it towards the center of the screen and spam E and hopefully it goes in your inventory. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm fucking
intolerable.
This is the worst shit I've ever seen. Like I just couldn't imagine anyone being interested in that game due to that alone. Like it's such a turnoff. It's the grossest shit. So I'm with you, but
totally. When something's like, it's fine for a game to be difficult, but when it's not like a mechanical difficulty or design difficulty, it's just like irritating. That's not fun.
So in Zero, do you just leave a trail of bullets everywhere so you can like run around and grab them and shoot? You know, like
yeah, sort of. I mean, you can leave stuff wherever you want.
Yeah, so I would just leave little bullets everywhere.
Yeah, you could kind of do that, but you could still carry stuff. Like you could still stack items and shit. So that would be a pretty inefficient way to play. But you could do that if you were.
Good for my RPG.
Trying to make it more difficult.
Yeah, if I was RPGing it, and I was just like, get the bullets.
Trying to make it realistic.
And this bullet,
exactly.
And this bullet, and this bullet, and just get them all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. It's it's a fun game. I'm getting pretty far into it. I think I have the vast majority of the trophies now. The final few are the hardest to get. But yeah, anyway. The other big thing I want to talk about is I finally got a Steam Deck.
You're in the elite Steam Deck squad.
Yeah, I'm an elite. And it's interesting. I haven't actually had a huge amount of time to play with it extensively yet. I've installed some games, which is pretty much what you'd expect, but it's pretty neat to be able to play. We were talking earlier about Bethesda games, and I installed Fallout New Vegas, and I installed Fallout 4. Not because I'm planning on playing it necessarily, but it was pretty cool to be playing Fallout 4 on a handheld per second. Like, it is a pretty neat experience that, is what you'd expect, but still, once you're actually holding it and looking around, you're like, holy shit, this is pretty magical in a lot of ways. What's surprising about the Steam Deck, though, and what I wasn't quite expecting is it's really complicated to use. It's obviously it's Linux-based, and the Steam OS that they created around it's pretty straightforward. So if you just want to play Steam Deck approved Steam games, then it works great. Other Steam games, which more were approved than I expected, but you could still install them and try and fuck with them. And a lot of people have made sort of workarounds to get it to work, but it's not necessarily super smooth. And then there's a desktop mode, right, where it goes to a Linux desktop, and that's where you can really get into the thick of it and start installing all the interesting like third-party stuff. So I figured out how to get the good old games launcher and the Epic Game Store launcher. Even that pretty complicated, and the whole thing is quite a bit more complex and sophisticated than I was expecting, which was, yeah, maybe just sort of on me. But it feels like a very complicated toy, if that makes sense. Like, it definitely is not something you'd give to your nephew and be like, here's a new games console. They would just be like, I don't, it's a little too complicated for that.
Yeah, at least you can play Fortnite now. So that's exciting.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, exactly. But what I am excited about is the future of it too, right? Like, it's only going to get easier to use, and already there's so many interesting workarounds and all kinds of fun homebrew stuff happening. And once there's like an official Linux or Windows installation or kernel or whatever that's called, that'll open things up even further. People are already installing Windows, and it's a full desktop, so you can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. But I already have a bunch of computers, so I didn't necessarily buy it for that reason.
You could do your taxes on it.
Yeah, right.
That's what I would use it for, TurboTax.
Yeah, that'd be fun. As far as the hardware, though, it's real big, as you'd imagine, but, no new observations here, but it is surprisingly comfortable to use. It feels good in your hands, and yeah, it's really fun. I'll play with it more. I haven't even gotten into emulation with it yet, so that'll be a real fun project.
Yeah, I want to try it.
But
I want to Steam.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really fun. It's definitely like there's something pretty fun about going from playing Divinity on the Steam and then just hopping in bed and playing it. It's a little weird because you're playing a game with a keyboard and mouse and then you go to a control. So that takes some getting used to.
Yeah,
but
the real problem is the economy is crashing, so video card prices are coming down. I really want to buy a video card now.
Yeah, that would probably be a better use.
It would, but Steam Deck's cooler though. Like, that's for sure. So I don't know.
I don't know if a Steam Deck's cooler than like a high-end GPU.
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I agree.
I can't take my GPU to the streets and show people that I'm better than them.
Yeah, it's not as exciting a status symbol.
No. And who cares if you can't show it off?
Yeah, if you can't bring it with you, what's the point, right?
What's the point? That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have more to say about it as I use it more and really kind of get into it. But Resident Evil 0 has been taking up all my time. 2002 GameCube game. You know how my priorities get.
Yeah, I know how your priorities get.
Yeah, but anyway, I played some other stuff, but those were the two things I thought you'd be interested in hearing about. What did you get into? What did I miss the last 2 weeks?
Oh, so much stuff. So, I mean, since we talk about games a lot, all the Summer Game Fest stuff, I only watched the main one, the PlayStation one, the main one, and then the Xbox one. I don't know. I don't think too much exciting stuff came out of that. I thought the PlayStation one was neat. You get the cat game for free with PS Plus. So,
oh, that is cool. That game looks fun.
Probably play the cat game. Yeah, we saw Starfield. Looks like shit. I don't know. Whatever. I thought all of the stuff was kind of boring that they showed, in these recent for the summer. But,
well, aren't you excited? You can finally play Persona on Steam.
Yeah, I'm fucking pumped.
I can't believe they ported Persona Portable. That's wild to me. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah,
or
it
Persona
is wild.
3. That's like pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I guess it's neat that Golden will eventually come to PlayStation now. P4 Golden, because I guess that would be fun to play on like a modern. I don't know if it's better at all. But yeah, outside of that, and there was the Resident Evil remake, right? Which, if you're into Resident Evil, I'm sure you are, is pretty neat.
I don't care for that franchise.
Yeah,
it was cool. I mean, we knew it was coming, but it was fun to see footage. It looks like it's gonna be fucking cool, but it's not coming for a long time.
But outside of that, I don't need Last of Us 1 again.
Yeah.
I
think it's so wild that they're putting Last of Us 1 on PS5, but not The Last of Us 2, and the way they the way that franchise like skips consoles around, it's very irritating. Like I wish they just put out one disc with both of them on PS5 that I could just play the definitive versions. They just keep making new definitive versions. It's very irritating.
You know, I will say, like, I don't remember who I heard talking about this, but I think it really is more a symptom of having these teams, like, idle. You know what I mean? Like, so we live in a world now, like, so traditionally in game dev, and from my friends that all worked in game dev when I was younger, like, when you were done with a project, you were done, right?
Yeah.
Like, they would just kind of release you to do whatever you wanted, and you would not get paid. And you could move, you could leave the company, or, you know, maybe if you were, you know, high enough up, you would be part of planning the next project before they started to ramp back up and hiring for it.
Right.
And I don't think they can really get away with that now as far as like the stigma around hiring like that. And so I think what happens is you just have all these people kind of idle, right? And and Last of Us 1 remake was already kind of in the works by a third party company. I can't remember who it was, right? Like they'd mentioned it in like last year, like I think Jason Schreier had a story about like some spin-off company doing Last of Us 1 remake. And so, you know, I think what happens is you have this thing kind of partially done. You have a bunch of people at Naughty Dog that finished Last of Us 2, right? And it's just like, I don't know, you know, like work on this one, you know, like you have to work on something. We're not making Last of Us 3 yet. You know what I mean? Like we're in different stages on a lot of different projects. So it's like, here's something you can work on that we can sell. You know, I think that's kind of where we are with a lot of this stuff now. And it's far more about like opportunity and available seats than it is about like what makes sense as a product or what consumers are necessarily like more interested in, you know. It's and I don't know, you know, I guess I get it. I don't think it's necessarily good, but I think it kind of makes sense with the way these businesses operate now. But
yeah, that's as good a theory as any I've heard. I think you're probably onto something.
yeah,
I kind of wish they would just port the. I don't know. Anyway, and also they know it. People will buy it.
yeah,
and it's probably pretty relatively low cost compared to creating a brand new game. So
and it lines up with the TV show, right? Like, which is going to feature these characters, and it'll probably release at the exact same time, and so there'll be this renewed interest, right? I think they're trying to do. You know, when The Witcher came out, it like sold a ton of copies of the Witcher game, and I think they want to have like a premium version of that where it's like
I bet you're right.
Yeah,
that is smart.
Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah, I'm not excited about that. I wasn't excited about anything in the Microsoft show. What was that? They have a basically Left 4 Dead clone coming out, which was not exciting at all.
Oh no, yeah, that's the Arcane game.
Yeah, the Arcane game. But it's like,
I bet it'll be pretty good.
I bet it'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know,
they usually do pretty good work. So
I just have those games just never seem to work. Those like Left 4 Dead 4v the world kind of games, right?
Yeah, Left 4 Dead worked, and that is all.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, the only game I was excited about is another one of those, which will also not really catch on, which was the Warhammer one. But we've seen that was coming. Because I like Vermintide a lot. Yeah, like I think the Vermintide games are great. I think they're a lot of fun. But in the same sense, it's just so hard for these like, you know, asynchronous PvP or PvP against the world kind of things. Like they just don't catch on in that way. You know what I mean? Like they just don't work how you want them to because it's a fixed number of players. You can only have a certain number of friends, and if you don't have enough, or if you have too many, it's very structured in a way that's not conducive to like how people.
It reminds me of like back in the day before online. Like if you had a PlayStation and you bought like a multi-tap, and there was like 4 games that would support it, and it would have to be like it would work once a year where you'd get the right amount of people, and when you did have it all, it was awesome. This happens so rarely. That's kind of what these games feel like. It's like who's able to coordinate this on a regular enough basis to like actually get the most out of it, you know?
You had 3 friends coming over that could bring 2 controllers that wanted to play this game, that were going to be there for long. Yeah, I feel like that's the hurdles you run into with these kinds of games. And so, you know, it's just a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't know. Wasn't really that excited. But what I have been playing, but now I'll get beyond my disappointments.
Things you don't like.
Yeah, things I don't like. I mean, I don't know. I think there's still a lot of room for good games that come out this year. I just don't think they've talked about them yet. I hope we get God of War soon, and I still need to play Horizon. So,
Yeah,
um,
same.
what I have played is so Chivalry 2 came out on Steam recently, and so we got a
Hmm,
group together and playing some Chivalry 2. I
nice.
played quite a bit of it. I do enjoy it. I really like these like melee, um, chop up everybody games. I think they're pretty fun. it's, it's
I like
part of
Vermintide.
it's part of what I
Yeah.
really liked about Vermintide. Right? There's something so gratifying about taking a huge sword
Oh,
and
totally.
swinging it and twisting your
And
body
video games are good for
and
that.
just eviscerating people in front of you. And
Yeah.
Chivalry 2 does a good job of this. I actually kind of like Mordhau better, just in the way it plays, but Chivalry 2's scale is so much bigger, which I think is fun, right? It's just really
Yeah.
like 64 players and siege weapons, and you're throwing up ladders and getting pushed back, and people are throwing boulders off the ramparts, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
That
fun.
does
It's a
sound
neat
fun.
game. Yeah, it's a neat game.
I
Um,
it'd be cool to play a game like that in VR, if it worked properly, obviously. Like something where you're actually using your body in a way. That would be kind of neat.
it would be kind of neat. Um, the problem is like moving around sucks after a while.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's more be fun in theory. I'm sure there's some way to make it work, but
You
I
know,
like the idea of yeah, even further accentuating that physicality.
the problem is they have to make it rewarding. I feel like I don't understand why, but I think there's such a challenge in making games feel rewarding. Like like that you're really benefiting from this stuff, right? Um, like I think that's what Call of Duty does so well is like you really every game you finish, you're like, fucking,
Yeah,
I'm getting
you're
so much stuff. I'm getting all these
right on the edge of
emblems.
getting that thing I wanted every
Yeah,
time.
like, and I'm
Yeah,
this close to unlocking this, and I'll unlock this, and oh, a couple more games, and I'll unlock this, and you're just like, it
totally.
really drives you to play that game. And I don't know why, but that formula must be really challenging to get because other games just don't got it. You know what I mean? Like they just don't have that thing, and especially like VR games I play just don't have those kinds of systems at all. And I
Yeah,
think I would be more motivated, especially if it was something that really gamified like fitness like that, like you were having to be really physically active, but by doing so, like that just one more round feeling to unlock what I
yeah.
want in a way that still made me like be physically active in the VR space, I think would go a long way to like to forcing people to allowing people to feel justified and like pushing a little harder, you know.
Yeah, I
Um,
totally agree. I feel like when that finally happens, and I don't think it has yet, I'm waiting for it too. It's going to be huge
yeah, I
for
think
me, and I think it'll sell really well. And I think it'll be kind of a new wave of like fitness because yeah, there's a lot untapped there. I'm excited when they finally crack that code.
yeah, I think, it's funny because I think a lot of games have found good paradigms to be like good physical fitness systems in VR. Like I think Thrill of the Fight's really good. Um, I think even like the ping pong game I like 11, like even that, just
Yeah,
being on your feet and shifting your weight on your feet a lot and swinging around, like like you're moving around. Like it feels good
yeah,
after you play a few games. But none of those things have any hooks to like, you know, incentivize you to like just one more round. And I don't know if they're scared. Like I don't know if there's this fear that people are gonna hurt themselves if they're like compelled to, you know what I mean? Like if there's this compulsion to like do a little more.
yeah.
Um,
The fear is that Americans will just work out too hard
and
and
that,
hurt their arms.
right? Like, but maybe there is this thing where it's like a fat. I'm fat, so I can say this, but like a fat kid, right? Like
Yeah,
goes
gives
all
themselves a
night,
little heart attack.
yeah, goes all hard all night and like fucking kills
Dude,
himself.
if that's the problem that we have, then we'll be moving forward. Nothing against the fat kid, but just like
Yeah,
the exercise is too addicting. It would be a pretty good problem to have for this
I
world of
agree.
ours.
I agree. So be it, right?
Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
funny that they're like, yeah. I don't know if that's a real thing, but if people are allowed to kill themselves by eating, they should be allowed to kill themselves by working out, right?
yeah.
Like,
By fucking exercising too
yeah,
hard. Yeah.
yeah.
This
But
game is so sick that people are dying because they can't stop exercising. That
yeah,
sounds like it. I would love to play that.
yeah. Like there's one VR game I play sometimes called Population One, which is like a battle royale VR game, which
Yeah,
is very physical, and even that tries to have some of those like hooks, those like battle pass hooks. but it's few and far between, and it's like, why does it have to feel like? I mean, maybe it's not the teams to make that volume of content that's required for a game
Yeah,
like Call of Duty, right?
I think that's part of it. Is it's easier said than done for sure, as far as providing valuable content.
I don't know. I just feel like you can.
A lot of work.
I just feel like you can make tons of guns. Like, I feel like you could stop making maps and stuff and just make tons of guns and attachments and emblems, right? And like, it wouldn't be that challenging to like implement them all. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm stupid.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, yeah, I am clearly that's true in a lot of ways. What else have I been playing? I've been playing. What is the game called? I've been playing a game called Vigor. Have you heard of Vigor?
Mm-mm.
I'd never heard of it either, and I saw it on a YouTube video. And it's like kind of like a Tarkov style game where you kind of like jump into a map, and it's PvP, and you basically loot stuff and get into fights. And if you kill someone, you can take their stuff and then try and extract it out of the map.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I never played Tarkov, but I've always kind of been curious about giving it a shot.
So this is kind of Tarkov light. Like, it's sort of like Tarkov, but it's also like far less intense. Tarkov is so intense, you know, and it's so like milsim, you know, like the different helmets you wear and the different like affect the sound you hear, like the way sounds populate and the distance you can hear sounds. You can put on like specific earmuffs that'll muffle like high frequency like gunshots and stuff, but will allow you to hear like footsteps better. Like they change, like they'll contour like the sound curve that enters your ears when you're playing, which I guess is a real thing. Like in Tarkov, if you put the glass down on your visor, like it'll bullets will hit the glass and like interact in different ways, like for headshots and stuff. Like Tarkov's insane. Like that game it's too much. Like it's great, but it's also like too much. Even for me, who likes being a nerd about video games, I try and play that game, and I'm just like, I can't like deal with this.
But I bet for the right person, it's like unlike anything else.
Unlike anything else, I will say, cool. As someone that hates
them.
horror games, it's the best horror game that exists.
Wow.
Right? Because it is like,
I think horror and tension are not the same thing.
I mean,
trust me, okay?
I mean, man is the most horrific enemy. Okay.
Whoa, hey, that's a really good point you just made.
It is a really good point. But I mean,
what if the real monster was us all along?
It's mankind. Are we monster hunters or are we monster hunters?
Oh my god.
Huh?
You gave me goosebumps, don't you?
Did you ever think about that?
Never did. I never did. Yeah, looking at this game though, just the website, it does look cool. I love that it's like post-war Norway. Like that's so specific. I love that.
Yeah, it's not available on PC.
Yeah, it's on Switch though.
I played it on Switch.
That's kind of neat.
I mean, that's kind of the reason I played it, because I was just like doodling around and I was just like, oh, what's on Switch? And I was like, what is this fucking game? And I tried it and it's not bad. Like, I think it is exactly what it is. It's Tarkov light, you know, it's far easier to get into. The crafting's easier,
a little more accessible,
way more accessible. I think the pay to win stuff, or the microtransactions are a little, I don't want to call them egregious, but it's a free to play game, so it's not.
Yeah, you gotta cut it some slack.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you don't care about being the top Vigor player, I don't think it really matters.
I don't.
Yeah. So, but pretty neat. I think it's a pretty neat game. I haven't played that.
Yeah, that's cool. It looks neat, just judging by the descriptions.
Yeah, it's been fun enough to sit on the couch and play some Vigor on my Switch here and there. So,
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say shooting guns on the Switch. I guess you could turn on motion controls, which would probably be far easier, but just with the sticks on that thing, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I tried to play BioShock on the Switch when that came out, and it was cool to have it on the go, but yeah, it was unplayable with the controllers. You have to use a controller, which then kind of defeats the point.
Joy-Cons are... I mean, I played on the Switch Lite, so the Joy-Cons are attached, but Joy-Cons are dog shit controllers. Like, they are the worst controllers that exist in the world.
Yeah, they're not very good. They're not good for playing video games.
They're not good for I mean,
which is really what they should be. The one thing they should be good at.
They're pretty good for like motion, like for bowling, right?
They do some cool stuff with that. Yeah, I was playing when I was in Seattle. We were playing some Mario Kart and just some Switch games, and you do it in the sideways mode. And it's kind of cool to have that option. But yeah, it's certainly you really can't play more than 1 or 2 games that way, especially if you have if you're an adult. Like they're just too small. So
Yeah, I got some bear paws too. Like I'm
yeah,
not holding.
yeah, I have relatively big hands as well. Well, I was gonna say too, like not to bring back to me and my status symbol, but
Yeah, let's
I
hear it.
bought a lot of games on the Switch just to have portable versions, and now I'm like I was looking at my Switch library. I was like, fuck, man, why did I buy Amnesia, BioShock, and all these games that that I already have on Steam and will run so much better on the deck? Like I feel kind of like I wasted some money there because I'm never gonna play BioShock 2 remastered on the Switch now ever. I probably wasn't going to before either, but I guess my point is it really does kind of the Switch feel pretty much entirely obsolete in a lot of ways.
I mean, the Switch makes the Switch feel obsolete. That's the real problem. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how Breath of the Wild 2 handles on the Switch.
Yeah,
because
me
it's
too.
so old. Even Breath of the Wild 1 doesn't run great on the Switch.
Yeah,
Um, and
and that was
so
a launch game.
it was a launch game. So I'm really interested to see, is
Yeah,
this bearable in this era? I mean, I'll play it. I'll play anything Zelda, but um,
yeah. I am curious reading about Switch emulation on the Steam Deck and messing around with that. And I don't expect it to be as good necessarily, but like it probably will be eventually. And
yeah.
then this Switch literally will have because there are some first party stuff on there that's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to think. Is there any non-game stuff I did in this period? Did I watch any movies? I'm going to the movies tomorrow. So,
oh, nice. What are you gonna see?
Lightyear.
Oh,
My wife
cool.
loves. My wife's a Disney adult, bro. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, I've got nothing to say about that.
Dang, what a hater. We're
No,
going.
no, I'm not a hater. I'm not certainly not hating on your wife.
I
I just
mean, I
don't.
feel like you're hating on my wife, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, you gotta defend her honor.
Not one bit. No,
I
it's
just I just don't I just don't care about Disney movies. I'm sure they're fine. We've talked about this before. I think it's like yeah, I'm sure it's like a Marvel movie. They're fine. I just have no desire to
they just
seek it
kind of,
out.
and they've kind of lost their magic, which I think is sad, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. Went to dinner with my wife and her friend last night, and we were talking about Disney actually, um, and they were talking about how her friend said, Japanese Disneyland is so much better, right? And I'm like, and I just was like, yeah, because they're not owned by Disney, right? Like Japanese Disney's owned by a third party company, right? It's like partnered with Disney
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
a
That's
third
interesting.
party
That's
company.
probably an interesting relationship.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a very interesting relationship, but um, and I was just like, of course, like Disney holds itself back in a lot of ways, right? Where I think a third party company being involved, gets to do more interesting things. Yeah, the Oriental Land
Yeah.
Company it's called.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
they own Disney and then Disney Sea. Um, and so, I just feel like Disney itself, like Disney proper, has kind of lost a lot of its steam, right, in the past few years, right? Like, I don't know, Coco was pretty good, but uh, I think their art style's not as good and their writing's not as good. And, it's not um, these experiences that kind of transcend age and, right? Like,
Yeah, it's just all kind of starting to feel like a big mash.
yeah, big,
Like it's all fine instead of being exceptional.
yeah, it's all fine. Um, so yeah, we're gonna go see Lightyear, and then my friends, they're not gonna listen to this, so I can just say this. We had dinner a few weeks ago, and they were like, "Oh, we should like get together and play, like, uh, Dungeons and Dragons,
Yeah.
right?" And they kind of nominated me to like DM this thing, right?
Hmm.
And I was just like, I'll DM a game for us. I've never done it, but I've played, a few games. So
Yeah.
I have a soft, but I was like, we should play a different game. Like,
Yeah. There's a
f-
lot of games.
find an RPG designed for new groups that can get through it in a single run and make characters and do all this stuff. And so I found one called Beyond the Wall, and I was like, we should do this one. And having never played Dungeons and Dragons, they all insisted we play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And I was just like, do you understand? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick about it because I'm also ignorant a lot of the stuff, but it's like we're not going to get to play a game if
Yeah.
we try and do Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like, we're gonna sit down. No one's gonna make characters ahead of time. We're
Yep.
gonna try and make characters.
It's gonna be a lot of questions. You're gonna have to look a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of reading. Are you prepared to read?
Yeah, a lot of reading.
Yeah,
Quite a lot. A lot of math.
Yeah, are you prepared to read and do math?
You're gonna be calculating your stats.
My wife is Japanese. I already told her. I said, you're not going to be able to understand any of this shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, she speaks English well, but
Well, yeah, it's not even an English issue. It's
yeah,
just like it's a totally different language.
and you're definitely not. She definitely doesn't know what cantrips are and initiative. You know what I mean? Like, that'll be hard enough to explain to someone with like a from birth grasp of English, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I told her
It's a huge learning curve.
yeah, I said if you get like beyond, if you get uncomfortably like out of your realm with this stuff, I said just take my car and go shopping while we're doing it. Like, you can just leave, you know, like, and come back and get me in a couple hours. But yeah, I was just like, we're gonna just be sitting there making characters, trying to like figure out what the rules mean and describing the. I bought the starter kit at least, so it has like a pre-built like starter campaign. And I was like, it's got pre-built characters. We can just use pre-built. No, we want to make characters. So I was like,
yeah, of course.
of fucking course, of course. Like,
yeah, I mean, and all of that can be fun. They just need to know what it's going to be. It's not going to be. You're not going to be playing D&D.
yeah,
you'll be making characters and hanging out, and that could be fun too. But as long as they know what it's going to be.
Well, that's kind of what I said. Like, if you just want to like hang out and play with these character cards, like, cool, we can talk about races and stuff. But like, that's all we're gonna do. So
yeah, I'm playing D&D later today, actually, in a few hours again. We've been playing for like 6-7 years now. So I've only ever had one DM, but you know, I've gotten relatively familiar with it. And I always think about, if I were to DM a game, that's exactly how I would start. I would just be like, we're doing the initial campaign, and recognize that you're not actually going to be rolling any dice in a game for a while. But still, like probably, I said, that could be fun too, you know.
Probably a couple sessions before we ever roll dice.
At least one.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's the problem, is they hear these stories from their friends at work and stuff. Like, you know, they tell their friend at work, well, I'm gonna play D&D, and then their friend is like, oh, I've been in the same game for 10 years and it's incredible and blah 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 blah. And they're like, oh, I want that. And it's like,
yeah, it took 10 years.
And when they started 10 years ago, this wasn't their first rodeo. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
They'd played a couple other pen and paper games before this and got familiar with what it was, so that, you know, they didn't just think of a character 10 years ago, sight unseen, not knowing anything about the races or the classes, and we're like, this is the character I want for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, they built in a lore in their head about who this character should be based on previous experiences, and we're like, this is what I want to take in, you know, like, this is who I want to be. And I'm like, you know, we're gonna have to start over after all this. Like, if you do want like a long running game, this is all going to be washed anyway, so why don't we play a game that's designed for us to finish in 3 hours?
Yeah,
right. Like,
you're totally right. That's exactly what I would recommend.
But they want to play D&D. So.
Yeah. Hey man, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll play one, maybe 2 sessions, and then they'll be like, "Oh, this is a lot more work than I thought it would be."
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think we'll. I'll be honest. I think we'll get to character creation, and they'll be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, you'll be like, "It's D&D." I told you.
Because
anyway, let me know how it goes. That sounds like it'll be.
Because I'm like, I can go through the rule book and figure out like roll you guys through combat. Be like, you roll a dice. Oh, you hit him. You roll a dice. Oh, you did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can do that part of it, but at some level, it's like you have to own your own character. You have to understand what your character is, and that means
you gotta have some attachment to it as well.
Yeah, then that means you gotta understand all these numbers, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see that. I see that.
Maybe you're underestimating them. Who knows?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I think they're going to see that character sheet, just be like, "What the fuck are you? What are you talking about?" But
yeah. I suspect.
We'll see.
That's funny. Yeah, let me know how it goes. That sounds like it'll be interesting, regardless.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, worst case, we'll have pizza, and
yeah, exactly. Worst case, you'll hang out and make fun of each other and eat some pizza.
Yeah, but that means I got to read a rule book today before I go tomorrow, so that should be exciting.
Yeah, it's a fun rule book.
Yeah, no, they are. Like, the D&D stuff.
They did a good job.
Yeah, the D&D stuff's fun. Although I would recommend, if you haven't, because I read the rulebook for Beyond the Wall, it seems really cool too.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool
So this was the
pen and
one
paper games.
I found like most recommended for like the one we were doing, like single session. So it's written as like if you want to do this in 3 to 5 hours, like here's exactly what you do step by step. Like
Yeah.
spend this much time creating characters. Here's the character sheets. You know, like you roll for all your character like traits, right? So it's like here's 6 questions, one, and they all have 6 options in them, and you just roll boom, 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 and circle the ones that fit, right? And that'll create like all your character relationships and stuff, right? Like it's very like set, but it's really interesting, and it's I think the story seemed really fun. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
yeah, so there's a little endorsement for Beyond the Wall. I've never played it, but I read the rule book and it seemed neat.
There you go. Send us some money Beyond the Wall.
Yeah, send us some money Beyond the Wall.
Free plug.
Yeah. All right, let's.
Very valuable. We can't just be giving away plugs. You
Yeah,
know?
this really is a double episode. We spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time talking about nothing. Let's get into some trailers. You want to do games?
Let's
first?
talk about something.
So we got a lot of movies and a couple games. You want to do the games ones first? Get them out of the way.
We're talking about games already. I think it kind of makes sense to get into games. And
Okay, one of these is
then we'll
hardly
get
a
in
trailer.
movie mode.
It's very short, and one of these is very long. So we'll
Sweet.
see which one we get first.
I love that you don't know. It's so funny.
Well, because the folders are set up in a way it just plays whatever it wants.
Whoa. Hell yeah. Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's such an interesting game. The world of Ivalice.
So
That's the last boss. Jeez.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So the Japanese version released, not the U.S. version yet.
Ramza.
A young warrior.
A young warrior.
The kingdom from its
A young warrior with very strange proportions.
Yeah.
After battle, you'll build and train an army from 20 fighting classes and other warriors you meet.
So good.
Knights,
Yeah.
mages, summoners, and more.
And calculators.
And balance their talents.
The character
They
art's so
will
good in this
reward
game.
you with
Yeah.
victory.
It really is so Final Fantasy, right? Like it really does
Equip your army with the
harken
best
on like
weapons
what
and
makes Final
armor you
Fantasy
can
great.
afford.
Yeah. That shot right there,
Be strong in
that's
battle.
like Final Fantasy Tactics. All those stats and
Yeah.
lists. A lot of lists.
Just before battle, size up your enemy. What are their strengths?
What are their
Their
strengths and their abilities?
abilities? How are they deployed?
I never did that.
I always do that.
To battle.
I just start attacking and hope for the best.
Knowledge is power, Leo.
Control the flow.
Yeah.
Always fight from positions of strength.
Yeah, always fight.
Yeah.
When you attack, use your arsenal to find and target their weak links.
I mean, this is pretty accurate. Like, they're doing a good job of describing what the game is.
Yeah, it definitely like gives you a
Final
good
Fantasy
like.
Tactics,
It's a little more
key
informative than I was
and
expecting.
though history may not remember, you must stand to save all. May you
Yeah.
conquer the enemy, or may
Oh, I
you
did.
die trying.
Oh, I did that.
I also
died-
did die a lot,
I died
yeah.
trying. Yeah.
From Squaresoft, only on PlayStation.
Yeah.
What a game.
It's a good game. If anyone who listened to our last podcast, I went through my phase where I finally played the shit out of that game, and I played it on my phone, and then I played it on an emulator too right after. So it's very fresh in my mind. It's a very interesting game.
So incredible.
Could talk all day about it, but highly recommended. And I highly recommend you play with an emulator because being able to fast forward is kind of important, I think, when you revisit it.
Yeah, it's a slow game.
It is, and just watching the other team take its turn is like intolerable at a certain point. Like, I already know what they're doing, just I don't want to watch them do it. Come on.
There are like, and not just that, there are some moments where it's like one-on-one and it's so fucking boring, right? When you're like
Yeah.
just moving around for like turn after turn after
And
turn.
you already know what's going to happen, right? You know when you won pretty quickly or
Yeah.
lost. You just have to like watch it play out, which
Yeah.
can be irritating.
Fucking annoying.
But
What a fucking
all that
annoying
said,
ass
it's
game.
It's a fucking very interesting game.
Yeah, it
very
fucking
good.
bops. It's so good.
Yeah.
If you like games, play Final Fantasy Tactics. It's good. No matter what you like, no matter what kind of games you like, it's so
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Number
If you-
one.
If you only like fighting games or racing, I would not recommend Final Fantasy Tactics.
good. Nah, fuck that, dude.
Ooh, the Saturn.
This is like 30 seconds. Or like less, maybe.
Is it Sonic? Whoa.
あいつがセガサターンにやってきた
Hell yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. I think Sonic Jam was... I don't even know what that was.
We'll watch it again.
Yeah.
It's fast as Sonic, this trailer.
Whoa! This is pretty misleading.
Why? This is cool.
Because they make it look like it's a 3D game, but it's not.
I don't even know what fucking Sonic Jam is.
I don't really either, but I know it's not a 3D open world Sonic game, which is kind of what it looked like.
I thought it was something you put on your toast.
Nah.
Are we both Googling Sonic Jam right now?
I'm DuckDuckGoing it, actually.
Duck, what do you think the fucking government's gonna come get you, bro? Like,
Yes. Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, it's just a compilation. It's just like a bunch of Sonic games. So maybe they threw in like some 3D cutscenes, but it's just Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and 4.
Sonic Jam. Pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, pretty good games. You love Sonic, so you should buy this.
Okay. All right, let's get into our movie trailers. I have no interest in Sonic Jam, my friend. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I don't really either. Ooh, movie time.
Movie time.
Time to bust out the popcorn.
Yeah, Sonic Jam put me in a mood.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
George Clooney kind of dreamy, though. Like, no lie.
Yeah, he is not the problem with this movie.
You don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger? The Governator, bro?
I do like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The cast was not the problem, although Chris O'Donnell is pretty intolerable.
Chris O'Donnell is intolerable.
Just what I had in mind. Everything down on Earth except us.
Yes.
Yes! I like that. Yes! I agree.
So cringy.
Yeah, it's the cringiest movie that's ever been made.
Ever been made?
Dude. Yeah.
All right, maybe.
When
Maybe.
was the
Maybe.
last time you watched this movie? It's worth watching. It's a fascinating movie, but it's like
I probably haven't
very
watched it.
cringy.
I haven't watched it since it came out.
you should watch it. It's wild. It's a wild movie. The fact that it was made and then people were like, yeah, this is fine.
I do love George Clooney. He's so handsome.
Yeah, no, the cast is fine.
I was a big ER fan, right? So I was very fond of the Clooney.
Okay. I would say this is not his finest work.
Alfred's not sick. He's dying. Can't believe it.
Oh, shit.
I can't believe it.
Why? He's fucking 80 years old, of course.
Yeah, he's absolutely ready to go.
Easy to believe. He's ready to pass. He's tired of this world, this mortal coil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Bane's in this movie too.
Yeah. Tom Hardy.
Yeah. His first role.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Batgirl too. Because this movie wasn't crowded enough. It is such a shitty movie.
Well, it's like,
It's unbelievable.
it's got to have someone for everyone to want to fuck, right? Like,
Yeah, I guess that's
the hot
fair.
older guy, the hot younger guy, the hot older girl, the hot younger girl,
Yeah.
The
And then
gu-
Alfred.
and then
the hot
Alfred.
old guy.
the hot old guy. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it's an
Sick.
interesting movie. Like, it's worth watching if you like shitty movies and like sort of studying them. It's a wild movie, but it's one of the cringiest movies I think ever made. I think that's fair to say.
I remember thinking it was cringy
Yeah,
at the time.
as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid. So
I remember seeing it in theaters, and I'm a little bit younger than you, and even I was just like, "What the fuck?" And the last one that Joel Schumacher did, Batman Forever, is also pretty rough. But this one really was like just dialed up to 50.
But I also remember
crazy.
thinking Alicia Silverstone was so sexy in everything as a teenager. So, you know,
Yeah, I mean the cast is very attractive. There's no denying that.
the handsome cast for sure.
But I don't think that's really a good reason to watch a movie.
I don't know. It's as good
But I
as
guess
any.
I'm just not as shallow as you. You know what can I
Yeah,
say?
it's as good a reason as any.
She looks pretty good though. I always thought.
Yeah, she's such a cutie. I don't know about this, like the hair, like the disheveled.
I kind
What?
of like that look.
Yeah, I that seems appropriate for you.
Because it implies that she doesn't give a fuck, which is a very attractive quality, I think.
You seem like the type that would be into a more like bohemian nature.
Yeah.
Not me.
Only perfectly coiffed for Tony.
No, there's a casual look I do like, but it's not this one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's Speed too.
Cruise control, bro.
I'm so glad she. It's very unfortunate for her though.
This movie?
No, well,
Yeah,
no, probably
I mean, this
not.
movie's terrible.
The character just sucks for her. I feel like I've seen this movie.
Yeah, it's really bad.
That's the best, not as bad as Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I don't know. This was a bad week for movies. I mean, Keanu Reeves is like, no, I'm not interested in this shit.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that. Sandra Bullock's like, all right, I guess. Willem Dafoe's pretty great though.
Yeah, William Dafoe is great. Well, it's just such a weird movie because... So I watched the How Did This Get Made? They just did on this one. They just replayed it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it really does kind of highlight a lot of the dumb things about this movie. The fact is the whole plot is that William Dafoe's trying to steal some diamonds on the ship. So to do it, he hijacks the whole ship and turns it into like a... Makes it race towards a city or something.
I've definitely seen this movie.
And it's like, why not just steal the diamond? Like, if you have control of the entire ship, why not just steal the diamonds and leave? Right? Like, why
That
do you...
would be smart. Well, he's crazy.
I mean,
Look at those eyes.
that's true. He's William Dafoe.
Speed 2, cruise control.
That's funny.
Man, I just bought a condo here.
I just got one.
So you don't buy condos, bro.
Yeah.
There's no value in real estate in the sky, my man.
Yeah, that looks pretty shitty, but I would probably watch it.
Yeah, real shitty. I'd watch it too.
Oh boy.
What, not a Julia Roberts fan?
Oh, she's fine. She's not in a lot of good movies, though, is she?
Isn't she in Fried Green Tomatoes?
I don't know. I've never seen that.
She's in one of the Oceans movies, right?
Yeah?
She's Erin Brockovich.
Yeah? She's in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
What other ones do you know? Do you know what this one is?
Pretty Woman. This is My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I've never had a sister. All I've heard is Julianne this and Julianne that.
Michael and I were a wrong fit right from the start.
He said that too.
That's wild. Imagine if you were like between Julia Roberts and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. I would propose a three-way.
That should be the name of this movie.
Yeah, it should be.
Three-way proposal.
Three-way.
Lucy Ricardo do in this situation?
Polyogamy? Polyamory?
Polyamory.
What's one where you
What did you
marry...
call it? Polyogamy?
What's one where you marry like monogamy, but polygamy.
Yeah, I think it's called polyogamy.
It's not
Polygamy. It's polygamy.
Polygamy. Hey. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, man. I don't know what's going on.
Julia Roberts does that to people.
Yeah.
Inopportune time.
I
I
would
mean,
definitely not watch this movie.
no, me either. But they're both cuties, Julia Roberts and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, again, that's not the issue. This song fucking sucks, though.
This is a real bad song.
I'm the bad guy.
A story about
Yeah, you fucked up.
the love of your life. Do you really love him?
Well, they both fucked up, right? Like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
Trusted you. Just tell me why.
Why did you trust me?
No, why did you pretend to be my friend?
That's pretty funny, actually. Why did
Yeah.
you trust me? I have no idea. Oh god,
that's so
I would
bad.
not watch
Yeah,
this movie.
That's the worst. When people sing, like, it's like we talked about before the show, like, singing is psychotic. Like, yeah, I'll sing in the car and stuff, or, like, maybe at karaoke, but
Yeah,
the idea that, like, you should sing in front of people as, like, it's psychotic. It's,
or try and like sell it.
yeah,
What
like,
the fuck is this?
it's not pornography, which is what
I don't know,
hope.
Tony. It certainly has that vibe. I think it's just the low.
Like if you're 30 and single.
It's about the fact that not being married at 30 is like makes you a old
Spinster.
spinster, yeah.
Find a guy, some stranger.
Which is so funny because no one gives a shit now, right? Like,
Yeah.
Family's a marriage certificate and just tell them to shove it.
They've had it with men.
Dan.
I want to ink.
They've had it with work.
We don't have a size 8.
I've had it with
The
work.
one she's wearing is not for sale.
Sure. Mrs. Spell can cram her rear end into the skirt. I'll be happy to buy it for her.
They've had it with family.
He's like, what the fuck happened at work today?
Yeah. I'd be like, are you coming on to me right now? Like,
Yeah, like this is pretty inappropriate.
I'm in, but it's inappropriate.
Just to be clear.
Just to be clear, yes, but
But I have reservations.
I have reservations, and I'm concerned with how this will affect our future in this company.
Yeah.
It's yours if you marry me for one night. We'll get divorced tomorrow, no problem.
What are you, a nut?
What the heck? It's just for one night, right?
What are you, a nut?
Tell a guy has rated sex with his wife with, but you are the one he marries.
Ileana Douglas. Paulina Porras.
So their plan is to get married for a day and then get divorced, so they can be 30-year-old divorcees instead of 30-year-old
Oh.
single ladies.
I guess that's
Dream of getting married one
it's a
day
plan.
You're married.
That's it?
and divorced the next.
Well, apparently we're married.
What?
What?
That seems like a not very good premise for a movie.
No, real
But
dumb.
hey.
Real dated. You know, it's definitely a sign
Yeah.
of the times.
Yeah.
Because I do remember when I was young, when I was just a boy. Here, let me pause this.
Yeah, pause this if you're gonna tell us a story about when you were a boy.
I do remember when I was just a young lad, a boy in the time
world.
in the time of this film in the 90s, the late 90s. You know, everyone did have these like 30 did feel like this cutoff age where people had these plans of like where they would be at 30.
Yeah.
You know, I think as time has evolved, that number has become pretty ridiculous. But, you know, this was the era when everyone was making like, if you're not married by 30, you have to get married, or you know what I mean, like those kinds of
Yeah,
ultimatums
that's right.
and stuff.
Those
Like
weird
it's,
pacts. Yeah.
it's such a big thing. So, the times that they've changed, the times they are
they-
changing, Leo.
They certainly have. I would argue for the better in this regard.
True, Leopold. True.
Of finding that one true love, having bold adventures, and lasting
This trailer's fucking
This
insane.
is like the opposite of the last trailer. It's very weird.
This
They're
trailer.
both about like
I have no idea what this trailer's about. I watched the whole thing before the show because I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's Keanu Reeves. This is what he was
wow.
doing instead
I
of
didn't
cruise
even
control,
recognize him.
right?
Yeah, that's funny. That's a great point. He's like, no, man, I'm not doing cruise control. I got something else going
I
on.
got a big project lined up.
I don't know. I read the script. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna do it.
So this dude just wants to be a hoe, and like, and that's the conceit. Is like,
That's the whole movie.
Oh, no, ma'am. Well, you look a good 21 to me. Life
it's like this dude wants to fuck everybody.
precisely what it is that you
Yeah, fascinating.
The end.
I haven't seen you in 2 months. The first night we're together, I drag you out in the freezing air. I mean, come on, I'm trying to take care of you here.
It's worse. Dragging me out already.
I'm not running out. You want it, don't you?
And Keanu Reeves
I
is
wouldn't
like,
watch.
Keanu Reeves is like, "Oh, you want to fuck everybody?" It's like,
Like,
the
that's
end.
cool.
That's cool.
The end.
The fuck is this stupid movie?
I would also not watch this movie.
No,
I think
this-
I'd rather watch the last movie than this movie.
I'd rather watch. I don't know if there's any movie. I'd rather watch the Julia Roberts marriage movie than this movie.
Yeah, I think I would too, actually.
is what happens when you're busy making plans.
That's not the
Is that the
title.
name of the movie?
title is
I committed suicide.
The Last Time I Committed Suicide.
Video's home video.
Oh.
Direct to video. It was well received.
Keanu, what were you up to, man?
What were you up to? What a shit show.
Whoa.
What is this? Are we about to watch the movie?
I know. Are we watching a whole movie?
It's like hitting concrete. See, the
Whoa.
thing that would worry me is that some people survive it. Survive it?
That's true.
Liz, this is Terry. Terry wants to kill himself.
Join the club.
You have any fantasies, Terry? I don't know. Man, I got thousands of them. But I figure I only got time for 10 or 12 of
I
them.
feel like this is like the other trailer we watched a few weeks ago.
$1,000. You help me
Same
with these
director.
things. I'll make
Is
you a
it?
factor.
I don't know. It feels like it.
Could be.
Whatever.
I didn't do any research, so it could be.
Can't do this.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, Terry. This was my way.
I'm not here.
Can, Terry.
I'm not here for fucking research.
Here, just
I hate this music.
Not the first
Yeah.
time I've taken drugs. No, that
bet it's the first time you've ever licked another man's finger.
He's like, absolutely not.
Do that shit all
That is
the time.
not the first time.
What happens to me?
You will be given the job of protecting the souls of all the fishes.
Damn.
Tell you what,
Damn.
it's your night. It's your turn. We're gonna do any fantasy you want.
No, this is his first
If there
film.
is anything that you like to do.
It's a hip, feel-good romp, though, I will say.
I will say this movie kind of looks interesting.
I'll never forgive you for this. God won't forgive you for this.
It looks like it's pretty well made.
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about this before. I just feel like I just have no interest or sympathy for this like age group anymore.
No.
It's like I already did all this.
And Kathy Moriarty.
Dad, I gotta tell you, I don't eat fish anymore.
And, you know, yeah, I agree. I think just young adults acting poorly isn't much of a concept to me.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, I feel like I just don't relate to it in a way that I find interesting.
so the curly haired guy's dying, I guess, and then he's got
Oh.
Arquette is like, he's making him help him do all his fantasies before
I
he
see.
dies, and he'll give him his life insurance money if he does. So that's like the concept. Like, it's kind of interesting, but
Yeah,
I
I
also-
didn't get that at all from the.
I
Maybe you
didn't-
could have mentioned that.
when I watched the trailer, I was like, this is stupid. And then when I read the synopsis, like, oh, that actually seems like a reasonably interesting movie.
That
You
is
know,
a great
like,
conceit. I guess it's just a shitty trailer.
It's a shitty trailer. Trailers were just real bad in this era.
They were. If we've learned nothing else, it's that trailers have gotten a lot better.
Somebody told me they used to make a lot of honey around here.
I learned from my dad, and he learned from his.
Oh. Bees.
How many places you keep bees?
3, 4, 5 bees.
How many bees do you have?
1,
I don't know.
2,
Yeah, a lot. Hold on, I'll
3,
count.
4 bees, 5 bees. 6.
I think I got about. It looks like I got about 8 bees.
I gotta start over. 1 bee, 2 bee. This movie looks boring as shit.
As far as I'm concerned, she can just stay gone.
Whoa.
You're all we got, Pop. Well, fuck off then.
That and 8 bees.
Yeah, I got bees.
Yeah, it's like I don't need you. I got a lot of bees.
I got my bees. Want me to count them for you? 1 bee.
No, I
2
don't.
bee.
Again, stop counting.
3.
Goddamn. I hope this was called Counting Bees.
Counting bees.
Starring Peter Fonda.
You were almost a good man, Ulee Jackson, but you tried too hard.
But then the bees got you.
All you care about is those goddamn bees.
And run away.
There's more to life than bees, Peter.
God damn you. How dare you talk about my bees?
Every time I see a jar of honey, I cry.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is about bee gold.
Yeah. Yeah, bees are the ultimate metaphor because they die after they sting you. And
yeah.
that's really...
Maybe the real monster is bees, not man.
Maybe the real monster is bees. African bees. So racist. If this is the movie I think it is.
Then we're in for a wild ride.
No, we are not. Yeah, it is. The funny thing is, guess what genre this movie is on Wikipedia? You can watch a little more before you guess the genre, but I want you at some point to guess what genre this film is. It's a seductive new film. So shocking.
How shocking is it? Whoa,
I mean,
I'm shocked.
Fucking shocked. It was not shown in its home country. Too shocking.
That's odd.
Caught between centuries of tradition
Yeah, you know.
and the rush of the modern age,
Modern age.
a young man has become the
This
favorite
guy.
son of a powerful crime lord.
I wonder if this movie's
Oh.
good, though.
Specialty in wealthy women
Does it have Kiryu?
Oh, I wish.
and blackmail.
And blackmail. And necklaces.
And necklaces.
And a beautiful woman from his past has taken control of China's
I mean, this looks
family.
pretty rad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I bet it's... and to make it over here, like, in full release, it has to be pretty compelling. Right? Like...
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing about like imported films. They're generally good because you only see the ones they found like they thought would be worth importing.
Yeah, that's true. I like this music. I don't know how much of it is just I really like the music.
I think it looks interesting.
Yeah, no, totally. Gong Li.
Temptress Moon.
Whoa. Yeah, I'd watch that.
What genre do you think this film is?
Romantic comedy.
No. Wikipedia lists it as genre Chinese.
that seems maybe a couple more adjectives. Chinese.
Yeah.
To be fair, it does look pretty Chinese.
When I was telling the list, it's like we have an action, a drama, a romantic comedy, action comedy, Chinese. And I was like, that doesn't seem applicable. Yeah. But
that's really funny, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Was this really banned in China? Hold on, I'm gonna look and see if this. It's time to do an investigation on.
Someone likes research.
I haven't done any research. I'm googling it now.
That's research. The bare minimum, but still, I think it qualifies.
I guess. I'm trying to see if it was banned in China. Oh no.
What happened? What rabbit hole did you find yourself in?
Unlike the near universal praise for Concubine, Temptress Moon's reception abroad was considerably more muted. Critics praised the sumptuous visuals by Australian cinematographer Christopher Doyle, but also cited the confusing plot. Roger Ebert said, Temptress Moon is a hard movie to follow, so hard that at some point you may not be tempted to abandon the effort and simply enjoy the elegant visuals.
Sounds all right. I mean, I don't know.
Do you want to go to the parents' guide?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Oh yeah.
This
is gonna be great. The first thing it's gonna be like is like, step one. Just so you know, this is a Chinese movie. So if your kids are
step one, very Chinese.
If I had to describe this movie in one word,
there's no parents' guide. Parents are blind going into this film.
So what if a kid's like, Mom, I want to watch Temptress Moon? They'll be like, I don't know if you can watch that or not. I have no fucking idea.
They'll be like, fine.
Yeah, it sounds fine. Was it banned in any countries? I don't know. All right. Well, if it wasn't banned, it's probably fine.
I'm starting to think this movie wasn't actually Chinese.
Yeah, it's Australian.
Well, an Australian person made it. I'm just like,
hey, you know what? More than one person can work on a movie, Tony. Okay.
Okay. The film was banned by state authorities in mainland China.
Why?
Doesn't say. Yeah, it doesn't say.
Maybe it's like anti-communist.
Maybe. Let's read a review on Temptress Moon from IMDb.
I want IGN's review.
All right, let's find the top review here. Definitely worth pining for. Ooh. I decided to purchase Temptress Moon after viewing the breathtaking and devastating Farewell, My Concubine.
I mean, it sounds like we should watch that movie.
Both movies feature the amazing talents of Gong Li and Leslie Chung. So total is their transformation between the two films is different. Difficult to believe they're the same actors.
That's cool.
While Concubine serves as a historical epic, Temptress Moon seems more along the lines of Shakespearean tragedy. Like, I think it's Cage? I don't know if the name is. Okay, yeah, it's an Asian name, so I'll call it Kaige. His previous work, the characters' frustrations signify larger themes: domestic turmoil, gender repression, class conflict. Although these themes concern the private sphere of life and are not overly political as those addressing Concubine, they are just as much about power, its abuse, and the resulting disfigurement of the human spirit. Yeah, seems interesting.
Yeah, seems like we should watch both these movies.
Yeah, it's and I want to watch this Concubine movie though. It seems like
Farewell, My Concubine.
Seems like a much better film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Well, there you go.
Where's the review of Farewell?
Maybe you can watch it after you watch Lightyear.
Yeah, that's 8.1 out of 10. I'll have to check this one out.
Yeah, bookmark that shit.
I don't know how to bookmark. All right, we're gonna move on. All right, that's our last movie trailer. What movie trailers we got?
Well, I have to say, of all of them, I enjoyed that one the most. I think of all the movies, I would like.
You'd watch that one, huh?
Yeah, I think so. It looks pretty good. Like, yeah.
I would watch.
To be fair, that's the only one we did research on, so I might be a little biased. It's just the only one I actually. But I thought it looked pretty engaging.
I'd watch the B movie, and then I'd watch Temptress Moon.
Oh yeah, be a real depressing day.
1B, 2B,
2B, 3B.
Yeah, and I would play Final Fantasy Tactics over anything Sonic ever.
Oh yeah, same.
Sonic sucks.
Well, that's not true, but Final Fantasy Tactics is very good.
Sonic is bad.
We're not going down this rabbit hole again.
I mean, you realize that once I told you all the music was stolen?
It was not stolen. I did more research on this. It was not stolen.
You did more research.
Yeah, it's not like it was directly stolen. And not all of it. It's good stuff.
This is your defense for Sonic's... Not all of it's stolen. As the goalposts slide farther and farther away.
You can't tell me Sonic 2 is a bad game. That's insane.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I think Sonic games are bad.
Well, I think you're bad. So that's called an ad hominem attack, right?
Yeah, don't gaslight me, bro.
Let's just do all the fallacies at once.
I'll be honest, I don't really know what gaslighting is. Like,
it's just where you make someone feel crazy by manipulating them.
But isn't that like any argument, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's definitely a pretty broad thing.
Like, is it any kind of like
I think it has to be intentional. That's kind of the deal.
But is it
like if I was like, dude, I never said I like Sonic. I think it sucks. And you're like, yeah, you did. I'm like, no, I didn't. That'd be gaslighting.
I don't know. I feel like any contradicting argument is like under that guise, right? Of like, you're trying to make me think I'm crazy. Or like, this didn't happen. You know, like, I don't know.
You know, it's like denying reality and substituting your own for convenience.
That's the world we live in right now, man. Reality's like a concept. Everything's this postmodern crazinism. Hey, that's a real word now. Okay, don't gaslight me, bro.
You're gaslighting me. Don't gaslight me. It's a real word.
Don't gaslight me, bro. Words are about use. They're not about what's in a dictionary. Okay.
Words are subjective, are they?
Yeah, dictionaries list words that are used. We don't use words that come from a dictionary, right? Like,
what? Don't gaslight me, bro.
I'm not gaslighting you. I'm saying language is based on language that is used. It, like, you know, if we colloquially come up with a new term, it's valid because it's in use, right?
It's only valid if people know what it means.
Yeah, like whatever word I said before. I don't even know what it was, but that's a real word.
Crazinism?
Crazinism. Yeah, it's sweeping the nation. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I will now.
Yeah, it's taken over. Leo, is there anything else you want to get into before we get?
I feel like we covered an awful lot of ground, but it was fun. I'm glad we got to catch up.
Yeah, you get into some craziness.
I'm gonna gaslight you. It's gonna be crazy.
What is wrong with me today? Like,
you're just having a good day, you know.
I guess
your brain's not working.
Brain's not working. I'm just excited to see Lightyear.
I can't stop thinking about it.
Can't stop thinking. You know,
can't stop thinking about Farewell, My Concubine.
Yeah, yesterday I was talking to my friends, and instead of saying cantrips, I said caltrops, and they're like, what? And I was like, I'm sorry, all I think about is Naruto. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah,
really gotta get them level 1 caltrops.
Yeah, level 1. Yeah, caltrops. It's low level spells you can cast with no cost. They're like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I think we covered a lot too.
Yeah, I hope you have fun playing D&D. Let me know how it goes. You'll have to tell us about it next week.
I'm gonna complain a lot, so it should be pretty exciting. Thank you guys so much for listening. Soup heads out there. Let me know if you got any good soup recipes. I'm always down to make some new soups. I'd include stews.
What about chowders?
Chowders?
I like chowder.
Yeah, I'm into chowder. I'm down for soups of any consistency, from a thin, like, okay. Oh, excuse me. from a thin soup like a chicken noodle or an egg drop to something really heavy like a chowder or even like a stew, you
Or
know,
a bisque.
or a bisque. I like making this Korean stew, this Korean like chicken stew. That's so good. I'll send. I'll any soup heads out there want the recipes. Let me know. I'll post it up for you. All right. Thank you guys so much. We love you. Have a great week, and we will be back next week with more Puerto Rico.